Good morning. Welcome to another episode of That's Why We're Here, a podcast where we journey deep into our truth, into expressing ourselves, into finding ourselves, and much more. Just exploring, kind of just going in. So my name's Marissa Palmieri. Otherwise, people know me as Marissa. I realized I didn't really introduce myself at all in the last episode. I just went right in. I didn't spend a crazy amount of time on like the post-production process of that episode because I knew the priority was get the message out, get it out. And I'm glad I did because I A, spoke my truth, B, wanted to share it, C, shared it, did not let fear get in the way, and D, let it sit, let like life happen. And I got really good feedback on it. And I'm so grateful for the people who took the time to just explore and listen and to take the time. Really, I appreciate your time if you're listening to this. It means the world to me. And I think you'll start to understand that as we move through this journey. Yeah, so this episode is about to get very deep. This episode I've been planning in my head for about a week and a half now. And yeah, I'm very excited to share this one. I have titled it Truth, Self, and Accountability, with a strong emphasis on accountability. But I realized I had to include truth and self to get the accountability. So let's get into it, shall we? Truth, self, and accountability. What is that? We're going to start with know thyself. Know thyself. Know thyself. Yeah, talking to you. Have you explored yourself much? Like really the depths? Do you know what makes you tick? Do you know why you get up in the morning? What keeps you from staying in bed? Do you know what's deep within you? Do you know that you don't need anything but you? I first came across this term, know thyself, just a couple of years ago. And I'd say there's nothing more simple and true than this. It factored in pretty strongly into human design, which I was studying for a bit there. Human design is a very interesting way of perceiving yourself and knowing more about yourself. Know thyself also comes through in my reality through symbolism. Notably this ankh that I have tattooed on my chest here. For me, it's like acknowledge, know your roots, know thyself, know what life means, know what consciousness is, because we already know, and it's just about rediscovering ourselves. Throughout our lives, we build up layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of things and beliefs and ideas and concepts and identities that are not really us. And I think I touched upon that a little bit in the last episode about the not self. Knowing your patterns, knowing your truth, the truth of who you are, the truth of your existence. And that's different for everybody. But at the end of the day, there are simple truths. Okay, dude, this reminds me. I have to write this down, but I want to do a simple truth series on this podcast. I want to come up with a list of simple truths and make a series of episodes about it. So that's coming up. But knowing yourself is the simple truth of coming back into yourself, of remembering who you are. And I say remembering because we've known it all along. I can confidently say that. I think that all along we've really known who we really are, but we've been conditioned out of remembering. In a sense, we all have amnesia to a certain extent. And if you've read the book Journey of Souls, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a really good book called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. and he's a hypnotherapist who brings clients into the superconscious, which is past the subconscious, deeper. It's pretty much the spirit realm, like the soul spirit realm. There's a lot going on there. And so the subconscious is kind of like the bridge between our waking life and the spirit realm. And that's why dreams factor in so strongly into our life and our contextual symbolism of our perspective of our experience, and why they're so trippy, because it's literally our other lives, our other forms of existence playing out before our very eyes. I'm really into dreams. I will probably do a whole episode on dreams. I'm a symbolism girl. Okay, I love symbolism. I love it. I love it. Metaphors and symbolism. Talk to me all day about it. Yep. So, remembering who you are. First of all, fuck Disney, but it's like in The Lion King where Mufasa is speaking to Simba through the clouds. And he says, remember who you are. And he becomes the king of the pride. He was being guided by his father's spirit. And that's ancestral wisdom right there. And that's just one example. But remember who you are. So once you know yourself and explore yourself a little bit, explore the depths of who you are, not just the, idealistic parts of you, the parts that you want to like keep moving forward with, but also the shadow parts of yourself, the ones that you've brushed under the rug for years and years and years, and all those layers of like maybe childhood trauma that you've just repressed for your whole life. Talking about facing that stuff, your shadows, the parts of you that you have projected onto others without knowing it or without realizing it at the time. Speak your truth, but first find it. So that's huge, obviously. Like you can tell I think that's a big deal at this point. You gotta speak your truth. People want honesty. And honestly, don't give me anything but the truth. Like, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for anything but the truth. I don't have time for anything but your truth. Speaking your truth without holding back, without fear, standing strong in your foundation. And I don't mean to say your belief system. I mean to say your personal value. People don't want fake shit because the fake only lasts for so long. Oh, I just got a text from Adam saying good morning. Good morning, Adam. I'm recording this on March 22nd, 2021, exactly 1 month before Earth Day. So, as I'm taking a sip of coffee, I just want to talk about a little intermission. I've been editing a lot of episodes lately. I've done a lot of recordings. I've only put out one, but this is going to be number 2. As I've been recording more and more and listening to them and editing them together, I've come to see that I've been growing really quickly, and I'm able to see the progress that I'm really making internally and in my mind and in my aura. There's a lot of updates. I've enrolled in a magic and alchemy class, and that's been helping me tap in deeper into my intuition, listen to my guides, learn new tools and skills to be more present. And it's unfolding very quickly and very beautifully. I've come across a new group of people who are not afraid to be vulnerable and open about their experience, because we're all tapping into that part of ourselves right now. Feels really good. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge where I'm at this present quality of time. So this list I've made is really interesting because I could have drawn arrows all around this page, like how one thing leads to another. So first was know thyself. Second was speak your truth, but first find it. And number 3 is take accountability for your own existence, your own life, your own consciousness. Find yourself and your passion. Don't harm others or yourself. Take accountability. for your own existence. You're taking up space here, right? You live in a house or someplace. You live somewhere. You exist somewhere in Earth space-time. I'm existing here at 9:01 in the morning on March 22nd, 2021 in Detroit, Michigan. USA, Earth, Milky Way. That's my address. The first line of my address is my name. I live in this body. This is my house. Talk about knowing yourself, you know what I'm saying? But really take accountability for your own existence. You know, we're out here. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to be self-reliant. But I've also heard it like, no one out here gives a fuck about you but you. And that's like a really harsh way to put it. But like, if you want to put it in a more loving way or compassionate way, it's like, we're all trying to like make our own lives the best that we can. So I think that's why nobody really has time for your shit. Like, you got to figure out your own things on your own. And that's part of growing up. We start adulting. We start paying into this system. At least in America, we start paying into this system monetarily. We've already paid into it with our time and our childhood and our upbringing. But we start investing in these programs. So it's not just the monetary stuff we got to figure out, like paying bills and all that and finding a job. It's also the processing of one's own life and experiences and perspective. Processing that in a healthy way, in a healthy, beautiful, fulfilled way. But oftentimes we see a lot of people not working through their own stuff and reaching out to other people to meet their needs that they can actually fulfill on their own, but they just don't want to take the time to do so. So if that resonates with you, keep listening. I got nothing but compassion. When you're in those states, it's really hard to like come to terms with the truth of your reality. But with enough self-exploration, those realizations happen more quickly. And you don't have to stay in those shitty states for as long. That's what I've noticed. We just keep doing better exponentially. Just keep listening, I swear. I will show you the way. Well, I'll show you my way. Take accountability for your own life. Try not to depend on people if you can. Like, I understand some people are disabled and physically need other people, mentally need other people to, keep the ship afloat. But if you're listening to this, take accountability for your life. Don't harm others, just like you don't want to be harmed. Try not to project your own shit onto others. Try and catch yourself when you do. Own up to it when you catch yourself. Whether you're communicating the accountability that you're taking to someone who you just projected onto, or you're taking accountability within. Both are valid. Both are expressions of yourself. Never stop giving up on sharing your truth. Never give up on trying to find your truth. Never give up on yourself. Never, ever, 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 ever give up on yourself. If you give up on yourself, others are more likely to give up on you too than if you were to believe in yourself. That is a simple truth. People want you to be doing well. People want you to be thriving. Like peers. Your peers want you to be thriving. It's inspiring. It makes people happy to know you. It means you got a lot to show someone. But if you give out the energy, if you give out the vibe about yourself that you are not confident in yourself and your own life, and wherever your life is going, the way you're living your life, your lifestyle, style of your life, no one's going to want to join you on that lifestyle. And if they do, it's because they're also lost and they don't know who they are. I think it's so, so, so important to find yourself and know who you are so that you can live the best life that you possibly can. And if you want to do that, keep listening. You got to access your consciousness. It's so easy to do it. We do it every day. But really tap in, access it. Manually access those files. We have a lot going on in our consciousness, you guys. Consciousness is energy. And there is a law of conservation of energy, right? And our consciousness is part of that. It never goes away. I even have a flower of life right here. This is the imprint of existence and consciousness. You know? This is seen around the world, everywhere, in any design of nature. And this is inside us. It is everywhere. It is the signature of the universe, of all existence. So tap into your consciousness and understand where you're at. Understand where you're at in terms of your soul's evolution. Understand where you're at. Know thyself. Know who you are. Remember who you are and know how to get back to it. This is all doable, you guys. This is all doable. And if you're already there, then I'm happy to be here with you. I'm so happy. I'm happy to know you, because usually the only people that are watching this are people I know. So honestly, holler if that resonates. If this right here, this little idea bubble that I just created, resonates deeply with you, if you have found who you are and explored your own consciousness, let's have conversations. Come on to this podcast. Let's just talk. I'm not hiding. I'm easy to reach. So on the surface of all of that, it's kind of finding your passion through exploring yourself and finding yourself. You find your passion. You carry yourself through that passion. For instance, this right here, this little setup, this is my new passion. And I'm finding myself through this passion, which is awesome. And I'm carrying myself through this journey. And remembering that it's not good to harm others. It's not. I don't care who you are. It's not good to harm others. Because if you think about it, we are all mirrors of each other. So whatever we don't like in someone else, we're actually deep within assessing and commenting on something that we don't like about ourselves. That's another simple truth that gets very convoluted in the sense that it disguises itself as judgment and prejudice and mockery and just criticism of others. And it's really criticism of self and like gossip and stuff like that and like shit talking. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We don't need that. We don't need that. Nobody needs that. Because when you're gossiping and you're talking shit about someone or you're making fun of someone who's in front of you, you're like talking to someone, you're like, oh my God, look at them. You're talking about something you don't like within. And you're telling that to someone else. So in that sense, you're actually solidifying that belief in yourself that you don't like. And whatever you don't like, it's triggering you to say that, to comment on it. You got to take accountability for that. We have to. We can't keep putting our shit out there, our negative shit. It's unacceptable anymore. It is 2021. We have seen the darkest of times. Not just like now, but throughout our human history, we have seen some dark times. And it is time to start learning our lessons. School is in session. All right? We got to really own up to who we are and why we're here and what we've done and how we go forward. This is serious shit. Because when you find yourself, you start to love yourself. And it's not a scary thing. People get scared of exploring the depths of oneself. But once you do it, you actually start to have more compassion for yourself. And you actually start to practice self-love and self-care. You're more inclined to do so, at least. And that usually leads to actual action. And that goes back to taking care of oneself, becoming self-reliant. Like it's all interwoven. That's why I had to bring all these three aspects together: truth, self, and accountability, because you can't have one without the other. You know, it's another one of those divine trinities. Once you learn to find yourself, you don't want to harm yourself anymore. You want to make your life better. You want to stop abusing your body. You want to stop, abusing your mind with negative self-talk And you also want to stop abusing others with your own projections and bombs of emotion and opinion that you could really just explore within and be satisfied with just on your own. Because once you find yourself, you realize you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. You just do you. You just do you. You literally just be you. And your life naturally happens. This is me being me. Yes, it involves a lot. But at the end of the day, I'm just doing. I am 100% in my truth. And I have taken accountability for my life, for my consciousness, my soul's evolution. I have taken accountability for my existence. This is coming into the next point, but taking accountability for the harm we've done to others. I touched on that very briefly in the last couple minutes, but it's not a matter of if you've harmed others. It's truly a matter of when. When have I harmed others? I'm sure a lot of memories could pop up if you really ask yourself that question. And that's what I'm here to give advice on, is ask those questions. It's not easy to go through those memories, but it's very important to be honest with ourselves and not be too self-critical on, oh, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. Just, know that you didn't know better. And it's not to give yourself an excuse for doing it again, but at that time, because you know better now, and there's no excuse to continue harmful behaviors or words or expressions of oneself. It's not acceptable once you see them. Once they're illuminated, you can't do it anymore. Can't do it. Shouldn't. You can't unknow what you know? So once you've learned, you're going to not want to harm others. You're not going to want to harm yourself. But our voice is very powerful, and we have to be honest with the way that we have affected others and sent out ripples of cause and effect events. Part of this can feel like karma, but the way we express ourselves to others is really important to be aware of. And I know a lot of people out here don't understand the effect that they have on others. I used to be one of these people, okay? And I was straight up told this. It was like a wake-up call a couple years ago, but I was told that I don't understand the effect I have on others. And I was like, shit. I gotta take a step back and assess what this means for me. And I'm really glad I took that step back. But what's funny is it took me years to take that step back after being told that. But I made it. And now I'm here to say that it's important to realize. So often we can get afraid of taking accountability for the harm we've done to others because we think about what they've done to us and why our actions or responses or expressions were called for at that moment or at that time. And, maybe they were your immediate response, but were they harmful? And if the answer is yes, you gotta own up to it. You gotta accept that that's the truth, acknowledge, accept, release through compassion. So I know there's a lot of fear surrounding approaching these concepts because we don't want to think about the sad stuff. We don't want to think about the painful memories. We don't want to think about it. It's too hard. But here's the thing. We have to step out of this fear of confronting truth. Truth is the only thing that matters anymore. We need to deprogram. But first, we need to step out of the fear of confronting truths of the world, everything that's outside of us, and everything that's inside of us. We need to confront these truths. We need to face up and own up. We need to show up. We need to face up. We need to own up. And we do this through asking questions. Ask questions about everything. Do you remember when you were 2 years old, maybe 3? Do you remember asking why? Have you met a kid who's 2 or 3 years old? They're always asking why. Why? How does this work? What is this? Why is this? Why is that? Why is that? Why is this? Stay curious. Always ask questions. Find the truth of the world and yourself. Don't be afraid, because fear is the only enemy. We're often afraid to face our childhood, like our upbringing and any trauma that we may have experienced. We like to mask that. And I think that's interesting because in this day and age, masking up is everything. Not really, but it's like a physical, external manifestation of suppressing your own truth. This whole masking of the world. Everyone not being able to show themselves to others their truth. And I think that is very intense contextual symbolism to our times right now. This idea and this visual concept of masking up, this action of masking up. Take off your mask. Don't hide. Don't hide your truth. We need it now more than ever. We need your truth. First, we need you to find it, though. And that means working through all the bullshit, sifting through all your bullshit, but giving compassion to yourself for all that bullshit because it made you who you are. It brought you to today. Every experience is divine. Every experience is divine, even the shitty ones, because everything we experience matches our frequency. So raise your frequency by asking questions. Raise your frequency by demasking. Expand your consciousness by asking questions. Anything that's telling you to not ask questions or to not question is not of the light. Anything that's telling you to put your full trust in them rather than yourself is not of the light. Once you find yourself, you start to trust yourself more. And your confidence builds and your peace of mind gets stronger, your intuition gets stronger, the more you ask questions. In here and in here. The programming that we've experienced up until now has been, don't ask questions. Don't question what we're doing behind closed doors. Don't question the subliminal messaging we've been directly injecting into your consciousness for the last couple decades. Don't ask questions. Trust the professionals. Trust these experts. You don't need to ask questions because these people that we've chosen are experts and they can tell you exactly what's up. Question that shit. Question that shit. Anything that's telling you to not question, to trust in anything but yourself is not of the light. Okay, so there's a lot more that I want to get into. Okay, first I have to bridge these last 2 points. Taking accountability for the harm we've done to others is most often bridged by diving into our upbringing. Because, like I said on the last episode, there are a lot of things that we can carry through our lives that we picked up in childhood, like traits or behaviors or belief systems. So asking questions about your own belief systems is really, really important these days. We need it now more than ever for people to question their own belief systems and start to restructure their lives based on their own truth. And if you're hearing this, I need you to do that. We all need you to do that. Start asking questions about your belief systems and start breaking that down like now, please. It's time to deprogram and reprogram. Deprogram. Okay, there's a couple things I want to say. Okay, think about this. Food for thought moment, really quick. Think about your cable TV that you've been watching for like 20 years. Like, think about that for a sec. What do they call the TV shows? What do they call? What are TV shows and movies called? What do they call it when it's streaming on a television? They call it programming. And what are all these programs on? Channels. Just think about the obvious wording. Like, if that wasn't clear before, we have been programmed to think a certain way and to live a certain way and to invest in certain things. We've been influenced constantly. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie They Live by John Carpenter, but check that out. Put on the sunglasses, dude. You need to see this shit. It's for your own good. Just food for thought. We have been programmed to believe certain things, to see certain things, to negate certain ideas or ignore certain layers of things or entities, like groups of people or power structures. Like, we've been programmed to understand certain things certain ways through everything that we consume, through the food we consume, through the media we consume, through the advice we consume from people in power, wherever we live, wherever we exist in this earthly realm. We listen to that and we take it and we stop listening to ourselves. Because that's the programming. Because they're telling you straight up, don't listen to yourself. We don't need that. It's time to deprogram. It's time to unbrainwash. Because if we're being real, we have all been brainwashed. Okay? I was brainwashed. I unbrainwashed myself. Lots of us are walking around out here brainwashed. And believing things that aren't true. Not seeing through the layers of these programs and these belief systems and these structures that are in place that we don't question. Like the structures that our lives are based off of, what we spend our time doing every day. But we could be doing a lot more. The lies we're being fed are massive, and they are growing and getting deeper and deeper and deeper and more convoluted. You have to explore that stuff. You have to explore your own society and how your belief systems are really built and what the foundations really are. There might be layers and layers and layers and layers and layers that you gotta uncover. And the work is, they call it work, but that's why we're here to do that. That's our mission, right? We're here to explore. We're here to uncover. We're here to decondition, to get out of this brainwashed perception that we are victims to a system, that we are victims to anything, that we are living in victimhood, that we associate with being a victim, that we have been wronged our whole lives. That mentality puts you into mental slavery, because the more that you believe that you don't have control, the less power you're giving yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you take yourself out of a place of victim mentality of, this is happening against me, this is all happening to me, I'm being attacked, I'm being crushed down, I'm being oppressed, move out of that, move into your truth of who you are, standing in your truth, knowing yourself, living out your passions, not worrying about your fears. And that looks different for everybody, but the advice is universal. Free yourselves from mental slavery. It's a Bob Marley song, redemption song. Free yourselves from mental slavery. Da, 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 da. Dude, he knew exactly what was up. This victimhood, this victim state, this mental slavery is fear-based mentality. When you live in fear of everything, what kind of life is that? Are you having fun? Are you having fun living in fear every day? No, you're scared to go outside. You're scared to be around people. You're scared of getting hurt. You're scared of living. You're scared of finding yourself. You're scared of asking questions. You're scared of trusting in yourself. You're scared to trust yourself because you don't trust yourself, because you don't believe in yourself, because you've been told not to believe in yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how this is a vicious cycle? We can get out of this, okay? There's a way out of this vicious cycle that we keep ourselves in, because we have the power to change it. We also have the power to keep ourselves stuck. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Seriously. If you feel stuck, think of how you might be keeping yourself stuck by not facing your own truths, by not accepting yourself, by not even taking the time to dive in to who you truly are. There is a hilarious concept that I recently have come across. And I don't know if many of you play GTA, Grand Theft Auto. It's a video game. RPG, right? I think it's RPG. Yeah, you're playing a role-playing video game. In that game, there are these NPCs, which are non-player characters, is what they're called. Non-player characters. So that means they're just walking around without a mission. They're just there taking up space. They're part of the design of the game, but they don't really have a real role to play in your experience of the game. And I think that this is really a funny way of acknowledging that there are many NPCs out there walking around right now who are literally missionless, who have not even thought about this type of exploration of oneself and one's place in the world and one's consciousness and evolution. So that's a new label you can work with if you find it funny as well, these NPCs. And not to judge anybody, but I just think it's funny. All these brainwashed NPCs out here walking around. It's 2021, come on. We gotta own up, baby. Gotta own up to our shit. We gotta own up to who we are. We gotta own up to our truths. We gotta own up to the truths of the world. We gotta own up to our own realities, our own inner worlds, as well as our own outer worlds, because we're all in this together. And if we can make it less difficult for each other and ourselves, why would we not? So that's why I'm here, to assist, to spread this message about taking accountability, owning up, finding yourself, knowing your truth, and working with all of the above in harmony rather than disharmony and disbelief and distrust. Okay. There's one more part of this that I want to get into. It's a deeper look into how all of this can be accessed. How this change can occur within, from moving from this to this. How we do that is taking note of your inner child. And if you haven't heard that before, keep listening. Our inner child is traumatized. Our inner child is the most pure part of ourselves, the innocence that we came into the world with. The part of ourselves who just wants to be loved and seen and heard, to feel that way, to feel loved and seen and heard. And often our inner child is traumatized because we don't receive that love and that feeling of feeling seen and acknowledged and appreciated in our childhood. And we learned and we accepted and we started being programmed with these belief systems that we can't express ourselves in our true, authentic selves. We can't be curious. We need to dim ourselves down for the world and our parents, and to not be loud and rambunctious and free-spirited and playful, because it's not helpful for others. A lot of times our inner child is dimmed, but they stay with us our whole lives. And that's what keeps us rooted to who we are. So explore your inner child, explore your childhood, explore your upbringing, explore the belief systems that came with all of that. That is how you access this change. And that is how you access the self-compassion, because we're just older versions of this kid that we always were. People say, I feel like a kid, but I'm 50. It's yeah, because you're in touch with your inner child. And also, we can say we change all the time, but our core is this inner child, because even in adulthood, we still want to be loved and feel seen and heard. That never changes. So that truth of us, that innocence, that craving of the beauty of life and the curiosity and all the magic and all the play, before you had any cares of the system and paying bills and adulting, before all that, that's who we really are. That's who we really are. And what you were interested in as a kid probably carried into your adulthood, unless you were told that that was not cool or that was stupid or that was not worthy of your time or money or you weren't going to make money at that, so you left it behind. You left your dreams behind. I'm here to tell you now, go catch those dreams. Go chase those dreams. They are valid. If that is truly what you want to do, go after it. Do not let anybody tell you what to do with your life. Here I am saying, do this, do that. I'm just here giving advice. This is our chance to rewrite history the way that we really believe in. Because here's the truth. They're already rewriting history. It's an inconvenient truth, let's call it that. They are already working on it, rewriting our history through censorship and through suppression and, taking away freedoms and not teaching us the real events that actually happened in history. All of these programs of like the school systems and the history that we learn about in these American schools. Have you heard of Common Core? Who started Common Core? It's Bill Gates. For those of you who don't know what Common Core is, it is what all the public school systems are using to program our children. I went through it. I'm working on deprogramming all that. Still. Takes a while, but it's freaking worth it, you guys. Just takes a little bit of time to think and sit with yourself and tap into that true essence of your magic, which is your inner child. When you connect with your inner child, that's when you start feeling the magic. I will do a whole episode on inner child. I just decided that I'm going to do a whole episode on inner child because it's a lot. Inner child is such a beautiful concept that it deserves its own episode. So this is our chance to rewrite history because it's already being done around us before our very eyes. And if you're seeing the fog and you're not seeing through the fog, through the haze, it's time to open your eyes. It's time to blow away the fog. Wipe the fog away from the mirror. Look inside. I'm just here telling it like it is. And I'm not the only one. There are many others out here trying to get the message out, the message of truth. And this is what I wanted to share because this is my truest expression right here, right now. So thank you for listening. There's much more to explore. Let me know which part of this episode resonated most deeply, if at all. If not, keep listening, keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep listening to your inner voice. Try to notice if your thoughts about yourself are positive or negative. If you're being really critical on yourself every day, or if you're smiling at your own presence, just acknowledge yourself. This life is beautiful. And I want to help you see the beauty in life. That's my art form, is showing my audience the true beauty of life and existence and our nature. So with that, I will wrap it up. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. That's why we're here. Yeah. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Oh, there's so much more to get into. I'm excited for the next episode. Have a wonderful day. Love you all so much. Thank you for watching and listening. Keep exploring yourself. Stay curious. I love you. Love yourself. You deserve all the love in the world.